Okay, hello YouTube. I've just made a talk just a second ago, but here's another one. So I haven't talked about my training program for the rest of my body parts except biceps and triceps. So I'll be talking about it right now. So I do, as I said, everything within a split of full body. It's not quite a full body, it's like 2/3 of body, but still. I do it within a split of full body, so how can I say that? The muscles that I care about, the muscles that I want to grow as effectively as possible, I train every other day. And the muscles that I sort of don't really care about but still want them to grow, I train them once every 4 days. And the muscle groups that I don't care about at all, I just develop through doing cardio outside, like playing soccer or running on the field or just fucking walking. So first of all, let's start with calves. Calves is a muscle that I care about. You could say that the speed at which my calves grow determines when I will start training my thighs seriously, because it's very important for me visually for my calves to be big enough for my thighs. Or you can even say that other way around, that I'm not willing to increase the size of my thighs unless my calves are big enough, unless my calves are the size that satisfies me. Right now, they are at 37 centimeters, around that, maybe slightly more. Maybe right now they're actually closer to 37 or 38. But I don't really care that much about my calf measurement. I just want them. I don't track that. I don't track them nearly as much as my arm growth, because my arms are still quite a bit smaller than my calves. Not that much, the difference is not that much, but like my arms are 34.6 and my calves are like 37/38. So they're a bit bigger. Even though it's kind of natural, I think that for some people, their calves being bigger in circumference than their arms is pretty much a default. For some people, it's not, however. It depends from your insertion point. If you have very high calf insertions, your overall circumference naturally gonna be smaller, but they'll be more explosive. Whereas when the insertion is lower, they have more overall size potential. It doesn't mean, however, that you can't increase the size of your calves if the insertion is high. For me, the insertions are kind of weird, because on the right side, it's it's very weird. I don't know how to say it. But on the right side, like if we're talking about the fucking gastrocnemius muscle, it's like shaped within two muscles. And the one that is inside my right calf has low insertion, and the one that is on outside has higher insertion. And when it comes to my left, it has like moderately high insertion on each side. But anyway, this shit doesn't matter. Wait, we're not here just to talk about fucking insertions. We're here to talk about how do I train my calves. Anyway, so there's a machine in the gym in the country that I'm right now, and this machine for calves is it's very fucking good. It's just a machine that here's a pad and there's an elevation, and it moves like in a fucking pendulum in a way that the resistance profile is it feels very good. So I really like that machine, and I just do it every other day. But I usually do 2 sets because I already accumulate quite a bit of, ankle fatigue slash additional calf stimulus by playing soccer. So 2 sets every other day, I think, is just perfectly enough for me. And I do them in quite low rep range for calves, 6 to 10, because I found that when I brace during that exercise, the performance is higher. But the thing is, I can't do bracing for high reps. It feels like my head is going to explode. The blood pressure is highs up. I don't think that bracing for high reps is healthy at all. I think that bracing is something that you should preserve strictly for low to moderate reps, whereas high reps, I mean, I think even though it might be just a skill issue for me, it most likely is, but 6 to 10 is perfect. This rep range is just fine. Again, for thighs I don't trade in my thighs at all, because I'm getting a bit of stimulus for my thighs and glutes as well during playing soccer, and I don't really care about increasing my thighs in size unless my calves are gonna grow. If my calves are gonna, go up from 37/38 up to 39/40, then I will maybe consider that I should start training my thighs bit by bit. And the only thing, I mean, it's not like I don't train my thighs at all. Anyway, I'll explain everything step by step. So some things that I do for the development of my core, for the front of my core, for the abs, and for the spinal erectors, is sit-ups, supersetted with zercher Jefferson curls. So let's talk about zercher Jefferson curls first. This is something I do. This is basically a movement pattern of hip hinge when you when you hinge in a hip and simultaneously you're rounding your back as low and as forward as you can to stretch your spinal erectors. And this is a hip hinge that biases the development of your spinal erectors. The reason I have chosen that exercise is because I don't want my glutes to dominate either my hamstrings or my spinal erectors. This is just a preference thing. It's not like I don't want decently developed glutes, it's like I don't want them to dominate. And doing something like Romanian deadlifts, I found that even though I have never really been strong at Romanian deadlifts, but even repping like 60 kilograms for 8 already made my glutes quite a bit too big compared to my hamstring size and my spinal erector size. So I have moved on to zercher Jefferson curls. Also, zercher Jefferson curls for some reason feels much better on my spine, on my lower back, which I had some issues with when I was doing Romanian deadlifts, but with Jefferson curls, it's like doing this exercise just makes it feel better. Even though last training session, when I have moved up in weight up to from 25 to 30 kilograms, yeah, I'm not that strong at all at that. I have felt some structural discomfort in my lower back, in my SI joint. Maybe it's just a bracing issue. I'm not that good at bracing, but I'll just play it safe and move back to 25 kilograms and just do sets of 8 until they become easy, you know. I'll just slow down the tempo and do like three. I even though I usually do two, but I can pretty much work up to three sets if they are not too failure. You know, that's not an issue at all. So I can work myself up to doing like 8 8 8 with moderately slow tempo, and then when my back just feels like it's too easy for it, then I'm gonna move up in weight. You know, because I don't want to move up in my weight in slow increments, like uh, from 25 to 27.5, because I would rather just stick to 25 kilograms for a long amount of time and then do a bigger weight jump. This way, I mean, I like to do it this way more. It's just like more satisfaction in a sense. It gives me more, yeah, it's like cooler to progress that way because you have become so much stronger with just that way that you can make a big weight jump and still you'll be strong enough for that for the next weight you're using, you know. So yeah, I just find it cooler to stick around with one weight for longer, even if it takes, even if you're doing this one weight for like a month, it would, I mean, it's cooler, you know. Even if your progression rate will be ever so slightly higher with smaller weight increments. I mean, I don't need it now to progress, so I will not utilize it. Okay, so for this is what I do for the development of my spinal erectors, and actually, because I go down so low, I actually get decent hamstring stimulus. It's not like my hamstrings are a limiting factor, but it's, I almost feel like my hamstrings are getting more stimulus than my glutes, and that's only a good thing because this is what I want, yeah, right? To get a lot of stimulus for my spinal erectors, decent amount of stimulus for my hamstrings, and a tiny bit of stimulus for my glutes. This is what I'm for. Yeah, and I'm also getting quite a bit of low to mid trap stretch from that exercise, even though the weight is very light. But because I'm stretching, because I'm protracting my scapula further away, it feels very nice. Like my upper back gets a bit of stimulus as well. So this is only a benefit. I would imagine that once I work up to heavier weights, once I build up enough spine resilience, and once I'm will be more efficient with bracing, so when my working weight will be like 60 80 kilograms, then the stretch on my upper back will be much more significant, and it actually might make a difference, you know. What the fuck, there's a T. I hit a T here, huh? Anyway, irrelevant, doesn't matter. Although, when it comes to sit-ups, yeah, on sit-ups, I do them in the low rep range as well. I go up to 8 reps, so I do like 6 to 10. No, not 8, but 10. 6 to 10, because I brace on them too. So the way I do them is just on the way down, getting a big brace in a sense, like, oh shit. Anyway, I'm getting a big breath through the nose, through the nose. So I have nothing to anchor my feet against, so I can do it right here. Yeah, and just go down and I imagine my abs being stretched. So doing instead of just initiating the movement in the hip, I'm doing it in the hip and in my spine simultaneously. So I get the best ab stretch possible. And I try not to rest on the ground. I go for a slight touch at the back of my head or at the middle of my back, and I don't rest at the ground. to keep tension on my abs, because I found that when I actually rest on the ground, I lose bracing, I lose tension on my abs, and when I reverse into the positive, there's too much tension on my lower back, and then it doesn't feel that much. It doesn't feel that good, and my abs don't get nearly as much stimulus as compared to the variation when I'm actually doing it, keeping tension throughout the whole movement. Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about. So yeah, sit-ups and Jefferson curls I also do every other day. And I do 2 to 3 sets usually. Yeah, because both of those exercises also require bracing. I usually don't go all the way to failure. I usually leave 1 to even 3 reps in reserve. I mean, for sit-ups, I usually go a bit closer to failure, and with Jefferson curls, I usually leave 2 to 4 reps in reserve. Maybe. I don't know for sure. It's just how I feel about it. So when it comes to the development of muscles around my shoulders, so my chest, my shoulders, around my shoulder joint, chest, shoulders, traps, lats, and yes, that's pretty much it. I do it in a way that in one training session, in one variation of my full body, I do incline bench press in the rep range of 3 to 6, which is pretty low, but I like it more because I can get to focus on my technique, because I found that my technique on presses overall suffers a bit, so doing them in low rep range just allows me to focus on it more, because you have to be more careful about your technique in lower rep ranges. Yeah, so it just turns a switch in my head that my technique needs to be on point when I'm doing it in 3 to 6 rep range. Yeah. So on one, I'm doing that for chest, and on the same day, I'm doing wide grip pull-ups. For now, I'm doing them in the assisted machine, like a gravitron, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, and I'm using like 35 assistant kilograms, and I try to keep my elbows as far out of my body to bias the teres major more. And it's not like I'm doing them in an isolated fashion. I help with my arms a tiny bit just to get a bit more diffuse tonnage for my arms. But it's mainly, the main working muscle, the limiting factor is teres major, which is the muscle here. Yeah, so this is the only 2 exercises that I do for the development of the muscles around my shoulders in one session, and then on the other, I don't train my chest at all, because this is one of the muscles that I don't care about that much, but I still want it to grow. So I only train it once every 4 days. On the other session, I do machine rows for overall diffuse tonnage for my upper back. So for my traps, I'm getting decent stimulus, and for my lats and teres major. I feel like the way I do my rows is like, it's a perfect blend of overall diffuse tonnage for my upper back. When it comes to, and in the same session, I do pullovers supersetted with lug raises. So pullovers, I mainly do them to increase the mobility of my shoulder, but first and foremost to expand my rib cage and to develop the serratus anterior, which is a muscle. Wait, I'm sorry for some armpits, but anyway, Wait, how do I show that? This muscle here, by the way. Anyway. Damn. This must be nasty, I'm sorry. But anyway. So I do them to expand my rib cage, to get in a sense wider. Also for diffuse tonnage for the fucking teres major and for the long head, additional long head. A long head of the triceps stimulus. Yeah, and I superset with loo raises just for some lateral head work and to work that overhead mobility, fucking upward rotation of the scapula, you know, just for the shoulder health benefits. Shoulders is another muscle group that I don't really care about that much right now, but I still want to train it like a bit. I still want it to grow slow. I want my arms and back to grow much faster than my shoulders and chest. For now. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Wait, for now I don't do any trap work, even though as I can see, my traps actually decreased in size a bit because I haven't done any direct work for them in a long amount of time. The same goes for my neck. I haven't trained my neck in a long time. Maybe I should start doing some, you know, maybe not farmers walks because it's a bit impractical to do in the gym, but maybe farmers holds for time, you know. Actually, that would be pretty good because I'm nowhere near strong enough to handle like the maximal amount of dumbbell weights that we have in the gym. I know that guys that are decently strong in deadlifts, 40 kilogram dumbbells are no challenge for them to hold for time, you know. But for me, I think my working weight would be like 25 kilograms in a farmer hold for like a minute. So I might as well train it. I think I should train it to get some more traps and more fucking grip work. Yeah, but one thing I have done consistently for grip work is flat grip hangs for time. The way I do them is I do 1 to 2 working sets where I leave around 5 seconds in reserve or something. I have trained them to complete failure once, but I found it really fatiguing. But anyway, this is not important. I mean, it is, but anyway. So yeah, dead hangs. The way I do dead hangs, I start with active dead hang when I actively retract my shoulder, in a sense, tense up my lats and lower traps to keep my shoulder in a sense in a position in a position from which I'm ready to do a pull-up, and when my shoulders get too tired because my grip is a bit stronger than my shoulders, quite weirdly. And so when my shoulders get tired, I just get in a passive hang, when I just from that position I go like that and I just hang for time. I mean, for as long as my hands can hold me. Not too hard though, not too hard. Yeah. Regarding the neck work, I think that I should start doing neck rolls again, because there might be a benefit in reducing my sleep apnea. Even though studies have said that, if your circumference of neck is larger than 17 inches, it increases the chances of you having sleep apnea. But the thing is, they're missing the point. Like, people have sleep apnea not because they have large neck circumference, but people have sleep apnea because they have a lot of fat around their neck. and people who have more fat around their neck have larger circumference. So they have found a correlation, but a larger neck circumference is not the causation, it's just a correlation, you know. Whereas if the increased circumference around your neck is going to be caused by increased size of your muscles around the neck, it's not going to affect your sleep apnea. At least this is what I believe. And moreover, doing neck curls actually strengthens your throat muscles, and your throat muscles being not strong enough, being too loose, being too soft, is literally the main culprit of people having sleep apnea. And obviously it gets worse when you're overweight, because the fat pushes your throat, it literally like weakens it, you know. And it gets worse when you're drinking beer, because it also softens your throat muscles. So yeah, one of the best ways I think to decrease your sleep apnea. It's not like I have severe case of sleep apnea. It's very unsevere, like mild, very mild. But still, I think I would benefit from doing exercise that partially increases, the tone of your throat musculature. So yeah, doing neck curls, I think this is what I will do next session. I mean tomorrow. My next session is tomorrow. So neck curls and fucking farmer's holds for traps and grip. Yeah, and this is pretty much everything I do for the development of my whole body. My goal, again, my main goal when it comes to physical development is to build a certain type of physique that looks a certain way, and only like the performance aspect of I want to be stronger at that, I want to be stronger at that, is only correlated with me wanting to look a certain way. So yeah, I have strength goals, but they come from me wanting to look a certain way. Yep, I think we can wrap this up. I think I have been clear enough, at least for myself. So to wrap this up, for calves, I do calf raises on a fucking amazing machine every other day. For thighs, I'm just playing soccer every 2 to 4 days. For abs, I'm doing sit-ups. For spinal erectors and hamstrings and glutes, I'm doing Jefferson curls with the zercher grip. For chest, I'm doing incline press once every 4 days. For shoulders, I'm doing glute raises once every 4 days. For back, I'm doing rows once every 4 days, pullovers once every 4 days, wire grip pull-ups once every 4 days. Yeah. And that's it. I can wrap this up. Bye.